WaveCrash is a versus puzzler by Flyover Games. Competitive puzzle games are literally the pinnacle of human achievement, unless they're clunky trash like Crystal Crisis. God damn, Crystal Crisis. Anyway, back to the good game. WaveCrash sees players moving their characters around on their side of the playing field. Pressing the swap button marks the block you're standing on. Press it again and the marked block switches places with the one at your new position. Whenever there are 3 or more blocks of the same color connected to one another, you can convert them into an attack wave and send it to your opponent. If the wave connects with your target, the line separating your play areas moves towards your opponent's side of the screen. Once the line reaches the goal on one player's side, that player loses. The most obvious way to avoid attacks is by simply moving out of the way. However, when you dodge a wave and it hits the edge of the field, it creates an impassable barrier. These barriers become taller as more waves hit them. The taller a barrier, the longer it takes for it to disappear. A lot of the time, these barriers are inconsequential. You will usually have enough space to maneuver and attack. This is not the case, however, if your opponent actively aims to create barriers in certain places. If they were to bombard, say, the center of your board quickly and repeatedly, you may become completely locked out of half of your field, leaving you without much space to dodge attacks. How then does one avoid these pesky barriers from building up? As a wave approaches you, you can send your own to counteract it. If there's an incoming attack that's 3 blocks thick, launching 3 blocks worth of wave is going to neutralize that. And I'm pretty sure that that is what a WaveCrash is. There's a diverse cast of lovingly animated, stereotypical characters to choose from. The sensei, the ninja, the corrupt businessman, Chie, you know the ones. Unlike established puzzler greats Panel de Pon and Puyo Puyo, the characters are way more than just art in the voice pack. Each one comes with a significant passive ability and a special move. Darlene has the ability to charge up her attacks to make them stronger. BELMONT disrupts his opponent's strategy by creating skull blocks, and Sensei Jones's barriers last longer than anyone else's. These abilities make every character play dramatically differently, provided you know how to make the most of them. On top of the more passive perks, there's the aforementioned special moves. Each character has a preferred color they need to line up 5 or 6 blocks of. The game's mascot and Naruto lookalike Yo, for example, launches a powerful 3x3 attack when 6 red blocks are in place. The robot Phoebe's special, on the other hand, isn't an attack at all. Instead, she buffs herself with a temporary shield and increased movement speed. Setting up your special move and saving it for the right time will make a huge difference. Finally, all characters but Phoebe build up hype with every attack they launch. Once the hype meter is full, pressing the corresponding button will start burning it. For as long as it lasts, your character's move and attack speed increase drastically. On top of that, instead of blocks slowly falling whenever space is made, they slot into place instantly. No, not now. The only limit is your ability to move accurately, which makes WaveCrash the melee of puzzle games. Sans pedophilia. A well-timed hype can end the match in seconds. From my limited experience playing against another human player, I could tell the hype mechanic is what separates the average player from muscle-bound puzzle monsters like myself. In the early access version I played for this review, there are 4 stages with special quirks, though these are disabled by default. I really like what they did with these, as they are each split into 2 halves. The first stage is half spring, half fall, with the balance shifting as the dividing line is pushed to one side or the other. The Paw Plaza is Team Cats versus Team Dogs. Crash City is Small Town versus Big City, and the training stage is Red against Blue. Not as creative, but I figured I might as well mention it. Like I said, the stages don't usually make a difference, but if you enable the quirks, they'll mix things up something fierce. Forest Stage, for example, has gusts of wind slowing one player's waves while speeding up the others. These gimmicks are fun to play around with, though their randomness and imbalance won't be welcome in serious settings. I spent a lot of time explaining the basics, now it's time for some advanced stuff. Moving the line by scoring hits increases the size of your field, allowing you to easily keep up the pressure as you gain access to more blocks. Obviously, when your field grows, the opponent's field shrinks. This serves as an effective incentive to try and hit your opponent early to gain an advantage. When you're in the danger zone, meaning that the next hit will knock you out, you can gain a second wind and briefly become invincible when connecting with one of your attacks. As a comeback mechanic, it works very well. The losing player already struggles with a smaller play area, so giving them a chance to turn things around feels only fair. Plus, tying it to a successful hit means the player really has to earn it. The speed at which a wave travels depends on how wide it is vertically. The wider it is, the more slowly it travels. This means wide waves are hard to avoid, but easier to counter. Keep an eye on what your opponent is planning and have a strong horizontal attack at the ready to punch a hole through undodgeable waves. Whenever you manage to send a field-spanning wave yourself, it's the perfect time to keep up the pressure. From the cover of the slow-traveling attack, you can keep launching faster waves to catch your scrambling target off guard. Whether you're on the offense or defense, WaveCrash always pushes you to keep moving and attacking. You'll need to find the right combination of speed and strategy to win the day. I have two gripes that keep WaveCrash from being the perfect versus puzzler. There won't be an online mode since the game is being made by pretty much just one guy with only so much time and money. That's a bummer, but it's understandable. At least services like Parsec will make it possible to manually match up with new opponents. The bigger issue to me is the fact that the AI is pretty weak, even on hard. A lot of the time a match will be over in just a few seconds before you have a chance to really get into the groove. Both of these problems are fixed by having friends, and it really isn't the dev's fault I don't get out much. WaveCrash demands a combination of speed, precision, and situational awareness at all times. While this may prove exhausting to a casual player, it's exactly what any fan of Versus Puzzler needs to engage Beast Mode for hours at a time. WaveCrash is pretty excellent, and I can't wait to have no one to play it with. WaveCrash will release for PC and Mac on September 2nd? Wait, wow, okay. I wrote this review almost a year ago. It's out May 18th, 2021, which is right now. If you purchased the bundle for racial equality and justice on itch.io, you already own it. Go play WaveCrash, especially considering that you might already own it. And go subscribe to Benedus Games for more reviews of mostly indie games, so you don't miss the really good stuff. Yeah, goodbye. See ya, gamers.